Hello and welcome to Homer for Tuesday, October 7th, 2025. Today we'll be reading from lines 229 to 244 in Book 12 of the Iliad, in which we hear one of the greatest lines of all time. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and let's get into it. Then with an angry glance from beneath his brows spake to him Hector of the flashing helm. Polydamas, this that thou sayest is no longer to my pleasure. Yea, thou knowest that how to devise better words than these. But if thou verily speakest thus in earnest, then of a surety have the gods themselves destroyed thy wits, seeing thou biddest me forget the counsels of loud thundering Zeus, that himself promised me and bowed his head thereto. But thou biddest us be obedient to birds long of wing, that I regard not, nor take thought thereof, whether they fare to the right, toward the dawn and the sun, or to the left, toward the murky darkness. Nay, for us, let us be obedient to the counsel of great Zeus, that is king over all mortals and immortals. One omen is best, to fight for one's country. Wherefore dost thou fear war and battle? Such profound words. Let's do it in the Greek. Ton arhupodraidon hosepekorotaiolos hector. Woludamas humanua ketemoe pilatautagoreues. Oista kai allon muton amenon atua de noesai. Eidateon de tuotonapos puodesagoreues. Exara de toiopeta teoi planasoles anautoi. Skalayas dennos merering drupoi o la testai. Wolaun haste moi auto supesca tokai cateneus. Tuane doi on noisi tanu tarugas ikalaues. Eithestait on nuoti mata trapomuodo lagisto. Eita bidexios poseu te alionte. Eita peristera toiga potis dophone roenta. Ha meste megaloi o dios petom ethabuolei. Vos positne toisi kayata nat toisi anasse. He soion osaristos amuonestai peripatres. Tipte sudedoikas polemon kai de uoteta. Amazing. So you hear in those last two lines some of the most profound Homeric wordages, right? This idea that there's one bird, right? There's really one omen that matters here. And that one omen is aristos, right? And because aristos always implies, right, the singular, right? And that is to defend on behalf of one's fatherland. And then the following sentence I think is also really, really great, which is tipte sudeto koikas pelemon kaide yoteta. Why do you fear war and destruction, right? Which is an interesting, de yoteta, right? That's not necessarily being destroyed, right? It's simply the idea of destruction. Why do you fear destruction? Which is also, important because it's like, well, why do we fear doing destruction, right? Why do we fear war, right? Is it because we fear being destroyed, right? Or is it because we feel that maybe we're not the best at destroying, right? It's interesting how there is this need to create better words on that, Hector says, right? So, the gods have destroyed your mind, right? Right? You hear a verbal parallel between amen on atud and noesai and amunestai peripatres, right? In my opinion, right? So noesai, patres, these are sort of, alpha, eta, there's in there, right? And then peri, and then tuode, right? It's sort of like these two syllables conjunction words. I don't know, it's not that strong, but rho, delta, those are like sort of in the same parts in the mouth. And then, of course, the stars here, which are amenona and amunestai, right? And I think that the link here is profound because amenona implies that something can necessarily get better, right? so you should come up with more words. And especially the Iliadic bard would definitely know that you can always come up with more words, right? Given inspiration, given divine inspiration, right? But the idea that you can defend any other land but your fatherland is impossible, because you only get one fatherland, as it were, unless you're Odysseus. And then you live your whole life thinking that you have a second fatherland, when in reality, you also don't have a fatherland. I was reading Oedipus Rex yesterday. Anyway, this idea of the best and its bestness, I think, makes this speech by Hector really, really good. And I would just, I mean, every single one of these lines is really, really good. I would really take a look at it if you can, but I like these and these three in particular. You know how to make better words. There's one omen that's actually good, and that is to defend one's fatherland. And then finally, of course, the one that I ask you to carry with you, listener. Right? Why do you fear war, and why do you fear destruction? Think about that. Come up with something good. For now, I've got to go, and I will leave you with your own Homer studies until tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.